how'd you get your online name, and do you ever give out your real name?
Yes, my name is Ian. It's well known enough that it's not really considered a secret. Um, but pretty much everyone calls me Vosh. In terms of how I got my start here, I was a prominent chatter in another online edgy debate lords community, a guy called Destiny. And after gaining some notoriety in his community by arguing aggressively for left-leaning political positions, I made my own Twitch channel. And after that, things just kind of blew up and never really stopped blowing up, I guess. So that's nice. Um, as for the name itself, you asked how I got my name, and I choose to interpret that answer in both ways. It is the name of an OC that I made when I was quite a bit younger and drew more often. And I just decided arbitrarily to choose that for my channel name.
OC, what's that?
Original character. Like, when you go on Tumblr and all of the 14-year-old artists are like drawing the if Sephiroth and Cloud had a kid, and they give it a name, like that's an OC.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. Yeah, I have a gamer channel and I'm named Kranos, and that is from a D&D campaign from one of my first D&D campaigns when I was 13.
There you go. That's an OC right there. That's an D&D characters are absolutely OCs, yeah. Original characters.
That's hilarious.
I have no OCs, so I'm very like far into the whole gaming, universe and all that. So you started with gaming and everything. So did you set out to talk about politics? Was that part of it, or did that just organically happen?
The politics was always the thrust of my online engagement. I would argue politics. I mean, I've always been into games, of course. Back in those days, Twitch.tv was exclusively a gaming space. Sometimes, like way back when, like in 2015, when I would try to stream, sometimes I would get distracted. I would stop playing whatever game I was playing at the time, like FTL or Binding of Isaac, and I would talk politics for a bit. And like a Twitch, the site was small enough back then. A Twitch admin would actually show up in my chat with a stream with like 8 people in it and say like, "Hey, you have to be playing a game," and I'd go like, "Oh, okay." and I'd
oh my God,
keep going with it. Yeah, no, it was way smaller back then.
Oh my God, you have to be playing a game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did not allow. It had to be. It was gaming only. And now, of course, you can do whatever on Twitch. So
yeah, except say Cracker.
Except say Cracker. I got unbanned.
Oh, you
yesterday,
did?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Well, there's our first video.
No, yeah, right there. Your good luck, it seems. But yeah, I got unbanned just the other day.
Congratulations.
I'll just keep streaming on YouTube though. For now at least. It's a little bit too easy to get banned from there at the moment, I think. Doing political content at least. So I'll probably just enjoy the fact that I'm able to talk to people from that space without actually streaming there.
Have you thought about streaming anywhere else? Like what's that? Not Curiosity Stream. What's the other one there that the Legal Eagle guy is doing?
That's just a content hosting place. I don't think they do live streams. I think they just host videos.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that makes sense. Cool.
Nebula, I think.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I'm actually curious about when you used to be in Destiny's. Are we not supposed to say his name? I can't remember.
You could say his name.
Okay.
And yes, I was.
You're in Destiny's community. How did you become known in the community enough to start streaming and people knew to go to watch you? Like, how does that work? Just in Discord, or were you in comments, or?
I would try to argue with him on his stream successfully sometimes. As in successfully as in I was able to get on his stream. Whether or not the debates themselves went in my favor is, of course, a matter of opinion. But I was mostly arguing pro-feminist positions. He was more right-leaning at the time.
Okay. And have you ever actually debated or talked to Hassan?
I've talked to him, yeah. I've talked to him like off stream a decent number of times since we're adjacent in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of like doing stuff on stream, I think we talked briefly along with H Bomber Guy back in, I want to say, late 2018, and that conversation was actually what inspired me to get serious about making a YouTube channel.
I was watching, in preparation for our conversation, I've been watching a good amount of your stuff, Vosh, and I was watching the current I guess, falling out, or I don't know what you want to refer between whatever's going on with Hassan. And so it seems like there's not a lot of friendliness, I guess, going on at the moment.
Well, I definitely think he's died on a couple of really stupid hills in the recent past. Unfortunately, it just seems like in some issues he defers to a very aesthetic understanding of socialism, and he gets very angry when he's called out for it. So, God willing, we'll get him over one day. But can't hold my breath.
Who do you think is your nemesis online? Because you have to have a nemesis.
I don't really think so. I know there are people who want to think they're my nemesis, but I don't really think anyone has like given me enough trouble to warrant my recognition to that sort. There are people who are more annoying or more aggressively pursuant of my interest than others, but there are probably like a dozen people who think of themselves that way. I don't want to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like that means a lot to them and very little to me. So
you probably have a thick skin, so you can't really have a nemesis. And I guess.
Listen, I'm my own nemesis. Okay, that's the closest we're getting. I am consistently my own worst enemy.
Of course, aren't we all really?
Oh yeah.
So who then, if you don't want to have a nemesis, who do you really like watching? Like, who do you have anybody that you admire?
There are many people I respect, that's for sure. In terms of admiration, well, personal disagreements aside, I think that ContraPoints has a remarkable script writing ability. I think that there's an aesthetic and rhetorical conciseness that's really worthwhile and valuable there. In terms of formidability, I think Keffels on Twitter has been dealing with an ungodly amount of harassment and has been weathering it with admirable tenacity. In terms of researchability, there's a content creator called Soaked on Left, and another called Rose Wrist as well. They're both quite good at this, though Soaked on Left interacts with me publicly more often. They're both very, let's say, fastidious nerds. They're very big into research. They love it. And that's pretty admirable, I think. There are a lot of people that I respect in this space. I'm not sure about admiration necessarily, but I think you can learn from all of them.
I was looking up your channel on Social Blade.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed in June and July of 2020, you gained 100,000 subs.
Mm-hmm.
What on earth happened?
Oh, that would have been because of the primaries for sure. Yeah, back during the the big beefs with Buttigieg, Biden, Bernie. I nearly said Warren Ellis. Oh God, what? Wait, I'm having a brain fart right now.
You just made it's something Warren. She knows. She has a brain.
Elizabeth Warren. Thank God. Oh, okay. It's okay. Yeah. Warren Ellis. So it's like E is the other name. It begins with E. Yeah, okay. That and BLM. I think my channel did a particularly good job handling those issues in particular. So I'm pretty proud of that in retrospect. I think those were definitely well-earned subs. So I'm happy looking back on that.
Nice. How do you prepare to, I mean, you always say you don't have a good memory. I do not agree with you at all. Or maybe I'm just comparing you to me, because mine's horrifying. But how do you prepare for that stuff? Is it just in your brain, and because you read a lot, or do you do any preparation? Like, where do you go to get your information that you feel comfortable sharing with your audience?
No, I never do any preparation beforehand. I mean, I read studies, of course. I watch videos when I'm off stream, but I don't ever prepare for a stream. One of the reasons being that I've always held the position that I think it should be evident that most of the arguments we deal with are so bad that you don't really need to prepare to defeat them. You can usually just like a Wikipedia level knowledge of any subject along with basic rhetorical skills is usually enough to handle like almost any confrontation you're going to have with people who disagree with you. Obviously, it helps to go further than that, of course, and if I was debating like a professor who I really disagreed with, I'd try to learn more. But for the most part, I think it's important to reinforce the idea that it's very accessible, the ability to, disagree with people and come out on top.
Is the lack of preparation and just diving in, Jason and I were talking about that before, is like sort of nerve-wracking. Like I'm like, we have to have a list of questions going. going in.
It's way better to not prepare for anything at all.
Yeah, this list is
no
distracting.
expectations.
Well, I mean, like one of the things I wanted to ask you about is and you know, you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but do you get any death threats?
Oh yeah, all the time.
And how do you deal with that?
Oh, I just ignore them.
Really?
Yeah, there's not really much else to do with them. I mean, if you want to look at it like logistically or whatever, the type of people who make errant death threats online and the type of people who will risk their life actually enacting them are not the same group of people. They're two completely different groups. You can go online and see this from like lefty circles if you don't want to like get in with the right. Most of the people on left Twitter making death threats at like public figures they don't like are 14-year-olds who like have to stave off suicidal thoughts every evening. They're not in a great place themselves. They lash out at others. I'm not afraid of them. At most, they're annoying. If anything, I feel bad for a lot of them. They're clearly not in a great place themselves. The same is the case for the right. These are not exactly the pinnacle of like mental well-being. You know, these folks. No, I don't pay it any mind. You know, you can stay concerned over that kind of stuff if you want, but at the end of the day, the point of those threats is to silence people they don't like, and all you're really doing is letting them win if you give into that. I mean, because if you gave into that, then like every person in the online space would have to give into that, right? By that standard, and then like the person who throws the most death threats would always win.
I guess sort of like the don't read the comments thread in your own videos and, you know, things like that, because people just say terrible things, and why give them weight, you know, or pay attention.
Yeah, if reading comments bothers someone, don't read them. You're not going to learn anything. Like no one, listen, okay, if you actually feel like you could stand a benefit from public criticism, which often is just not the case at all, don't read them yourself. Get a friend who you trust to go through negative comments, cultivate them, and sort the actual points being made, not the comments themselves, but the sentiment of those comments, the content, the stuff you're looking for. Sort them out and get them to give you a summary. That way you can deal with the worthwhile criticism, or at least the raw information, without subjecting yourself to all the negativity. There's just no reason to ever like torture yourself by looking through a bunch of negativity online.